this is Nikky with Hel Rocks, and I'm here with the Obliviscaris, with Tim and with Zen. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty great. Played to thousands of people in a foreign country on the other side of the world. That's always a good day. So yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah, it doesn't really get better than this. Playing festivals is a bizarre experience. It's really overwhelming.
Yes, I think last time I caught up with you guys, you'd just signed on to Season of Mist, and now you're touring Europe. What has been the weirdest thing you've run into so far? The biggest culture shock?
Biggest culture shock. I think the biggest culture shock has been the amount of cultures we've done in such a short period of time on this tour. We've been on the road for 3.5 weeks now. This is the last show of part one of this tour. And we went straight from Hong Kong to Japan to Israel, and then going from Japan to Israel was a bit of a mind trip because they were just such different countries, and that was sort of great to experience that. And then we went straight from there to Switzerland and Germany and Belgium and France, and then to Finland as well. So I think just sort of going across different continents and stuff like that all across this one tour has been pretty crazy, but a wonderful experience just to sort of see all those different cultures and countries and see what all the music fans are like there, and I guess be amazed to have such great support across all these countries that are so different, but the one constant was that people coming out to the shows and showing us amazing support, so we feel very fortunate for that.
Yeah, I mean, we just start to get our heads around the culture and currency and everything like that, and before we know it, we've moved to the next country and we'll forget about it until we come next time. It's an ongoing learning experience.
And I do believe that you guys actually came here off the back of your fans. The fans wanted to get you to Europe, and the reception to your crowdfunding, were you expecting it to be that successful?
No.
I think we were hopeful. I mean, we did a lot of planning. We did like a good 6-9 months of planning. We hadn't come across a band that had done such an ambitious world tour crowdfunding campaign. A lot of bands were doing it for albums, but we didn't need help funding our album. But our problem was that we were on Australia and the other side of the world, and we were like, well, we want to tour Europe. We want to tour North America. We want to tour Asia. We can't afford to do all of these straight away if we have to finance it all ourselves. And of course the problem is when you go somewhere for the first time, the promoters aren't going to be throwing massive amounts of money at you because they don't know how many people you pull until you've actually gone there and played. So that was the big thing, just I guess wanting to get there and show people what we could do, and then let your music and your performance speak for you after that. But just having such amazing support from our fans. I mean, we set a target of $40,000 Australian, which is about 30,000 euro or whatever, and we had I think 60 days to reach it, and then we hit it in 38 hours. So we definitely weren't expecting that. So we feel very fortunate to have such amazing supportive fans.
I guess it kind of opened our eyes as to how much, exposure that we have had in the course of a short period of time, which is, I guess, primarily due to the internet and our label. And with the amount of money we raised, it's been, I guess, really overwhelming just to have that sort of feedback and that sort of encouragement to say that we're, in a way, doing the right thing. And, even though we're writing music for ourselves, it's to have that many people appreciate it. Completely bizarre.
I know it must be bizarre. I had a Neo hoodie when I first moved here. And I actually had someone stop me in the street and go, "That band! I love that band!" And I'm just thinking, these guys are from Melbourne. It's where I'm from, and they're known of in Helsinki. So it was great. I was watching how many people were queuing to see you guys and flooding out that whole area, which is early in the day. And it was great. With the crowdfunding, you've got Europe, you've got whole of Europe left. Is I guess the Americas next on the books?
Well, we fly back to Australia tomorrow, and then we come back in a few weeks to do the rest of the festival throughout July, August. And we're trying to organise a few things with the US and potentially Europe as well, but we have a lot of things that are up in the air at the moment, so we're waiting to confirm things before we can sort of direct ourselves, I guess.
We'll be here, there and everywhere. We'll be in North America as soon as we can, and hopefully do some more in Asia soon, and we'll do an Australian tour later in the year, and hopefully come back to Europe as soon as we can. The idea is to not be strangers. You know, we don't want to come to Finland and then, you know, not come back for 2 or 3 years or something like that. So hopefully people will get another opportunity to see us soon, and hopefully they'll come out and support the band.
Yes, you've had such a reception, especially to Citadel internationally. I know that it took you a while to get the first album out, and then and then Citadel has come out in a much short amount of time. And were you expecting to get such an international reception to that second album when it did come out?
Well, we knew it was a good album, because I mean, when we write, we make sure everyone in the band is happy, and because we're very varied in our musical taste, we know that it would have some appeal to a wider audience. And I guess with signing to Season of Mist, who's based in France, that we will get a lot more exposure, as they're one of the major record labels for metal, and so. With that, I guess we were taken under their wing, and they've kind of pushed really hard to work for us.
Yes.
I think like for us, the main thing was when we put out our debut album, Portal of Eye. You know, we really loved it. We were really proud of it, and we had no idea what people would think, and a lot of people really liked it a lot, which gave us, I think, a lot of confidence that our original feeling of, you know, where our music was pretty spot on. And so the main thing with Citadel we just focused on was making sure that we loved it just as much, if not more, than Portal of Eye. And it was different, so we didn't know quite what people would think, but at the same time, you know, we thought, you know what, we think this is the best album that we can do right now, and, you know, we're really proud of it. And so you just throw it out there to the world, and thankfully a lot of people, you know, agreed that it was you know, worth listening to, and here we are.
Yeah, I've seen it on quite a lot of lists, and you guys are hitting up all the big festivals in Europe this year, I believe. Really quite a lot.
Yeah.
One of the other things I want to ask about is the artwork of the Obliviscaris is quite defining. It's quite unique, and I believe you are the artist behind most of it.
Yeah.
What drives you? Sort of what inspires you?
I'm inspired by a lot of things. I mean, with our music, because it's quite diverse, the artwork needs to be quite diverse, and I guess in a way it's meant to represent the music. There's so many different layers and different influences in our music. I try to, in a way, replicate that in the artwork I create. I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of sort of art, old literature and things like that, which is references from our lyrics and that sort of thing. But I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so it takes me a very long time to be completely happy with it. And I think I guess I'm getting into a rhythm at the moment, so things are starting to work better for me, mentally.
And have you so far not ruined any shoes or broken any limbs this tour?
What are you talking about?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be irritation. But what I will ask is, how does it go from playing on stage in front of all these audiences, then going back to teaching violin to children? How do you sort of reconcile all of that?
Sure. Well, I mean, that sort of presumes that I will have a job to go back to, because if we do too much, we'll probably all get fired from our day jobs pretty soon, and which is good problems to have, you know, when your band is getting so many touring opportunities that you know that maybe you don't have time to work back home. But it is funny, like, you know, I do lead a bit of a double life, because, you know, I teach the violin sort of, you know, a lot of the week when I'm back home in Australia, and, you know, I teach all these little kids that are like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and a lot of them don't really know anything about metal. They don't really know that I even play in a band like this. You know, some of the parents have just started to work it out when they realize how long I was going away for this, you know, part of the year, and so it does feel a little bit like a double life when you come out here and you know, doing something, I guess, special, you know, performing to like thousands of people all across the world, and go back and just focus on this one little kid trying to teach them the violin. But, you know, I love teaching, and I love all aspects of music, so I feel really lucky to be able to, I guess, take part in several different areas of that as a performer and teacher and recording and doing other stuff in the music industry. And, you know, I just love music, so it's great to be involved in whatever capacity.
And with that love of music, you guys are behind Welcome Entertainment, which has done mainly Tim.
Sure.
Well, I've seen Tim many times handing out CDs at gigs.
He works hard.
Yeah, it's for years you guys have actually been pushing Australian music, and do you think there's actually the world might be more receptive with the internet now to get more Australian music abroad?
Yeah, I think right now I think Australian heavy music is in a really strong place, and there are so many bands doing great things internationally. It's I think there's so much great music in our country, all sorts of different heavy types of music, and it's great to see so much here in Europe. While we've been here, we turn up at Grass Pop, and we had across the hallway from us was In Heart's Wake had their dressing room, and North Lane was supposed to play there. Unfortunately, had to cancel. Their singer was ill, but. And I think on the same festival there was also Airborne and Parkway Drive. So we had 5 Australian bands at the first festival we played in Europe. And then that's sort of the case for a lot of this summer. We were playing in Japan with Psychroptic and Either Enemy. Great Australian bands. Then later in the summer, we're running at Psychroptic again at a couple other festivals. I think we're going to run into Bellacore at Brutal Assault. There's all these amazing Australian bands that are out here with us, that we're running into on the road, which is a pretty special thing. And, there's other bands doing great things, like Carnival and, Caligula's Horse just signed a big record deal with Inside Out. So, they're going to be, I think, coming out here, pretty soon, hopefully later in the year. And, they're a band I've had the pleasure of working with back in Australia. And I think, we don't really have an Australian sound. There's not really, one particular genre that we seem to do really well. But, we have these great hardcore bands and great extreme metal bands and, great progressive rock bands and just all these different types of heavy music. We have bands, that are flying the flag for that scene and that genre, which is pretty exciting and, gratifying for us to be part of that.
Yeah, because here in Finland, they're used to metal. Metal is almost mainstream here.
Well, listening to it, and it was just a normal radio station that playing metal. In Australia, it's only, you'll probably get it once a week, late at night. So it's nice to be in a country which seems to be a lot more, I guess, open-minded in that regard.
Well, I do believe it's the highest per capita amount of metal bands to people here, so... Well, they say it's because this is sun, you get sun today, but there's most of the months of the year it's a little bit darker.
Sure.
So they say that it's because it's dark all the time we land up with metal. But I do believe the University of Queensland just the other week came out with a study that said that listening to metal is as effective as a hug for someone who is feeling sad. What do you guys think about this?
What? We were having a discussion, I think it was yesterday, and the new My Dying Bride album title got announced, which is aptly titled. It was the best thing. It's called Feel the Misery. Yeah, and he's sitting there, we're in a hotel room, and he's like, Feel the Misery, and he was so excited, that was just, that the imagery.
It's I can't explain it.
I think metal for some people is like a cathartic thing. Mm-hmm. So you get all this energy and you release it, through the music, and it's definitely that for me. It's this great way to just get all your energy out through the music, and a very sort of healthy thing to do, really, and just bury yourself in the music that you're playing and release it out into the world. And I think a lot of metal fans, are very passionate, intense, because they connect so much of themselves to the music.
So, Feel the Misery.
Feel the Misery. That's what it's called. Yes.
Why does it excite you so much?
Because he's a bit of a dark fellow.
Yeah. No, I would not get that.
No, absolutely. No, I mean, I'm an old school My Dying Bride fan, and they're complete doom, and it's just something that completely embodies what they do. Mm-hmm. It's just Feel the Misery. There's nothing more doom than that, and it's good that, I guess, in a way, that is cathartic in itself. Just to name something like that, just 3 simple words, but yet so effective.
And do you guys use the sort of same effectiveness when you're writing your own song titles and lyrics and things?
No, I mean, we're probably not as blunt as that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit poetic.
Well, yes. I like things I like when I write to almost paint pictures of what it is. And so, and by doing that, people can interpret it however they like. I don't want to necessarily spoon feed people because I don't believe our music is easily spoon fed. And there's a matter of taste and all that sort of things. But yeah, if you give people something to work with, they can make up their own mind of actually what it is about and form their own attachment to it. And if someone attaches to it in their own way, then I guess they can appreciate it a lot more.
And do you guys have any messages for your Finnish fans or just over here in Europe from how the performance went today?
Thank you, guys. We had an amazing time here at Tuska, and we've all loved our time in Finland, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Neo, and talk to you guys later.